Good morning, all of you. Today we will see one interesting topic, that is four pillars of IoT from subject embedded system and Internet of Things, which is for third year computer engineering students. So studying these before going to know what are the four pillars of IoT, first understand the concept of pillars. In any civil constructions, you can see that entire structure is carried by these pillars. So these pillars are the foundation of that building. So in IoT, the entire IoT system is carried by these four pillars. So there are two approaches. First one is horizontal approach. So you can see these two pillars are horizontally aligned, and second approach is vertical. So these two pillars are vertically aligned. So very first question, that what are the four pillars of IoT devices? So in this horizontal, starting with the horizontal approach, very first pillar is M2M. That is nothing but the machine to machine communication. Second one is RFID, that is radio frequency identification. These two pillars are horizontal. And SCADA is supervisory control and data acquisition. And next one is WSN, that is wireless sensor network. These two are the vertical aligned pillars. Okay, so with these four pillars, entire IoT system is carried. So first, one by one, we will see. Then with the logic of horizontal applications, you can see that it provides a solution to common problem. So as we have seen in design methodology, that first we need to identify the purpose and requirement. So while designing IoT, you need to identify the purpose or application, for what purpose you are going to design or deploy IoT application. So these common problems are given solution by the M2M and RFID. So these two are not business specific. In your university examination, there could be a question that what are the horizontal and vertical applications of IoT, or it could be asked as a differentiate between horizontal and vertical applications of IoT. So at that time, you need to mention this, that horizontals are not business specific, but vertical are the business oriented, business specific. That we'll see how they are business specific and how these are not the business specific. So horizontal applications can be used to monitor and control by multiple companies. Okay, then it allows multiple providers to work together on a single platform. It is robust, and it is developed fast and less costly. So horizontal applications are less costly, while vertical applications are business specific, and it can be used and monitored and also controlled by the single company. So here you can see the monopoly. Okay, so it can be controlled and monitored by the single company. It does not allow multiple providers to work together on a single platform. So these are the difference between vertical applications and horizontal applications. So what are the advantages of vertical application? That it has no compatibility issue with the other companies. Okay, and what are the disadvantage? It depends entirely on a single vendor or manufacturer. So in horizontal application, you can see it is a robust, but in vertical, it only depends on the single vendor. So try to understand these what we'll say these concepts. that how vertical applications and horizontal applications are differentiated. But as a as a concern of IoT, the entire system is carried by these four pillars. Okay, so very first is M2M, that is machine to machine communication. It enables the flow of data between machines, and it monitors the data which is gathered or collected by the sensors, and it extracts the information. Okay, it extracts the information and it loads to the database servers. So machine to machine communication, machine can talk with another machine and it passes the message or data, or it exchanges the data. So for that purpose, it uses some kind of wireless network or some kind of wired network, or you can say some cellular network or WAN, MAN, LAN. So for that communication, you required these things. Next one is RFID, that is radio frequency identification. In our unit number 1, we got to know that each and every device should have unique identifier. So this RFID tag can play this important role, that it gives the identification to the IoT device with the unique identification. So while talking about the RFID, there is one case study on RFIDs. Here you can distinguish between passive tags, active tags, and semi RFID tags. So mostly we all are using passive tags because they are less costly. They are cheaper than the active tag. While you are going to use active tags, you need to give continuous power supply to the tag. But in passive tags, no need to use of power supplies. It only sends the radio frequencies. So again, there are different kind of radio frequencies: low radio frequency, then medium range radio frequency, and then ultra wide range radio frequencies can be used. So just an example I will tell you. For like in iCard, in your iCards, there are some RFID tags that can be used in your automated library management system, where you can just pass that token and then you can issue a book or return a book. So it uses the low frequency bandwidth, and and you can see in different malls there are some tags are pasted on products or clothes that can be sensed in that can be sensed up to in 1 or 2 meter range. So as earlier example for iCard, there is very less distance is there to sense the RFID, but in malls or in shopping complex, you can see the tags are quite sensitive. They ranges from 1 meter to 10 meters, and again ultra high frequency ranges. You can see that for an example, car parking system, automation car parking, or in toll plazas, you can see automatic barriers are there that can sense the vehicle or object from the distance of uh, 10 to 20 meters in range. Okay, so these kind of radio frequencies can be used in the RFIDs. So these two are the horizontal pillars. And SCADA. Next one is SCADA. This is quite important. SCADA is supervisory control and data acquisition system. You many a times you could have heard about PLC SCADA system. PLC SCADA system. So PLC is actually a controller, that is a physical device, and this SCADA is an software. It is an software. It uses different kind of communication protocols and controllers. So for an example, BACnet is the communication protocol used in SCADA. Then CAN bus. CAN bus is a controller, and if it is a wired network, then there is a wired field buses, means wired network can be implemented in this SCADA system. So major role of the SCADA is to connect, monitor, and control the entire industrial plant, yeah, or any mechanism or IoT system is controlled, monitored, and connected by the SCADA. So it is, as it is, you can see vertical vertical pillar, and it is at the top level. That means it controls all the data acquisition process. So different PLC, drives, servers, sensors are handled by the SCADA, and also HMI, that is human machine interface. So different examples you can see with the SCADA, and you need to study the SCADA architecture also. So you can categorize this SCADA in three major domains, like sensors, actuators, controllers are on the field. They are actual physical hardware parts that are implemented on field. And next part is the for communication, whether it could be a wired or wireless medium. And then at the top of there, whether it could be a cloud or database server, that is the supervisory control center. So these three, you can divide this SCADA into these three major um, what will say class or groups. Okay. And it can be it can be used by the many major industries. Okay. And then next one is the WSN, that is wireless sensor network. It sends and gathers the data, and it distributes the data amongst the um, what will say whether in machine to machine, where human can interact with the machines, that is one part. Then machines can interact with machine without intervention of any humankind. So these are the four pillars. I hope you understand how they work, you understand. And I recommend you to do a case studies, different case studies, that is RFID and SCADA or PLC SCADA. I will tell you one interesting story about the Facebook in regarding this M2M. So you might have know that Facebook has developed two chatbots to train with this to train them, uh, that to understand the machine languages. And um, for that they uses artificial intelligence. And after some time after their trainings with the chatbots are going to talk with each other, and that language is cannot what will say decrypted or interpreted by any human user. So the machine is getting intelligence, and they starting communicated with each other. And at that point, these two chatbots is being to shut down by the Facebook. You can read this story, you can read that blogs on internet also, then you will understand this. So that's it for today. Thank you.